Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Crafty Chemist Designs. Today, I'm going to show you how to create these fun, beautiful, impressive, but easy color blocking cards. That's what I'm calling them. So if you want to craft along, just grab some paper, and you can see you basically just need a scrap, really, at least 3 by 4 inches of your designer series paper and some cardstock, and you can craft along with me. So while I am sharing this to the group and everything, grab some paper or say hi if you're on, and hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. So I'm going to share this to my group, which is the Crafty Chemist Presents Stampin' Up, if you're not already a member. Okay, I shared it to the group. Now let me share it to the event. Okay, I shared it to the event. And now let me just tag everybody, and then we could get started, okay? Okay, I'm starting to tag people. Hi, we're making these. Grab your paper, grab some scrap designer series paper, anything you will think will look beautiful, and then you can craft along with me. It's very easy. Okay, I've got everybody tagged. Hi, Mom. Welcome. Hi, Diana. Grab some paper and you can make these with me. I think I'm going to have time to make a couple different ones because there are a couple things I wanted to try that I didn't try in my samples. Okay, so what are we doing today? Today we are going to be making these color blocking cards. You can see how they look. They're so easy, and you really need very little designer series paper. So this is a great project to do if you have some scraps, right? So I made a few different styles, and there's a couple more that I want to try, but this one, I used paper that was, picture. You know how Stampin' Up often has these 6x6 papers that, basically is a nice scene. So this one is from one of these. Okay, so these are really nice for making a scene on a card. This one, it's not a scene, but it is a designer series paper that has some nice focal images. Like, I'm hoping you can tell about this pear here and the leaves. So you really can see, focusing on a piece of designer series paper that's got a nice, you know, strong image. And then this one I did because it just has some like random background, right? This is just leaves. And so I thought that would be a nice range of looks. And then there's another one I'm going to want to do today. So, like I said, I think I might be able to make 2 at least, and we'll see. Okay, but these are so easy. These are called color blocking, but this actually is a quilt design. Like we do this in quilting. I am a quilter. And I actually just made, just put together this past year, a color blocking quilt. I printed a picture of the quilt because it's too big to actually put on here. So it's similar, right? This is a similar quilt. So I took a piece of, it actually was one of those panels. You know how in quilting you can buy a panel? So this is a panel. This was from the Minnesota Quilt Shop Hop. And they have this beautiful panel. This is like a lake in Minnesota with some native flowers and such. And I thought, wouldn't that be really pretty, like as a window pane, like you're looking through the window at this lake? That was kind of my vision when I saw that panel. And so I cut the panel up into, you know, these 16 squares, which was a little bit, you know, scary to cut up this panel that I had just bought. But you can see I don't have the border around the edge yet. I still need to do that, but I have the window pane here. So it's a very similar look. Not exactly the same, but I mean, it's a very similar look. So when I've seen these around on Pinterest and things, I thought, well, I just made that as a quilt, so I'm going to try it as a card. So it really is easy. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. All you need is a piece of designer series paper that is 3 inches by 4 inches. And for this sample, I was thinking about using this. Okay, so it should turn out something like this one with a scene on the front. So this is from the Beautiful Gallery suite. I'm not sure if that, let me see if it's still available. Hi, Vicki. Hi, Jean. Yes, this suite is still available. Let me drop a link here. I didn't have a resource page created for this because it's more of a technique of the card rather than the products. This one really isn't product-based so much. I'm having trouble getting onto my DBWS. Okay, I found it now. How are you guys doing? Okay, there we go. So this is for the beautiful gallery. I love this suite. I made some cards using this one. Remember when I did the frames with the impression dies? I used that one. This is so beautiful. So, okay. You need a piece that's 3 inches by 4 inches. And the thing about it is you want to look at your paper and see if there is any particular 3 inches by 4 inches that you want. If you're just doing a random one like this, it doesn't matter. But if you're like on this one, I really wanted the sunset to be in the center. So I've not fussy cut, but I did trim around to make sure that was a 3 by 4 inch piece. Okay. So on this one, I want to focus on this area here. So let's, I'm going to cut it like this. 3 inches. Now, all of the ones that I did are portrait. I guess you could do a landscape one. So if you had a picture that you wanted to do landscape, you would do it, 4 inches landscape and 3 inches the portrait area. Okay, so now this one we want to cut to 4 inches. Let's see. If I do it here, I'm not going to get much sky, right? So let's cut a little bit off of here. I'm going to cut like a 1/2 inch off the bottom. And let's see. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I'm gonna cut it there. So now see how I've got this 3 inch by 4 inch piece that focuses on that area that I wanted. Okay, now here comes the hard part. And this was especially the hard part when I was making my quilt, is cutting up this, beautiful piece. And if you're crafting along, you want to keep these in order. Okay, so as I cut them, I'm going to place them over here probably to keep them in order. Okay, hi Sigrid. So as you're cutting, keep them in order. So I'm just going to cut this into 1 inch squares. Okay, so I'll put this to the side, do another 1 inch, put this one to the side, and again, keeping them in order. Now cutting these 1 inch this direction. Okay, so they're going to be just 1 inch tiles. And then as I'm putting this one over, I'm going to keep them in order. If you're trying to make the scene ones, okay. Okay, that was one down. And then the next one, this is the center blocks. But again, I'm keeping it in order. And remember, this is turned on its side. So when you put it in order, you have to turn it 90 degrees. I mean, I'm assuming you can see that, but just kind of keep that in mind. And then one more. And you can see, I think, how fast this is going to go. Okay. So you are going to end up with 12 pieces. Although, actually, and I encourage you, you can do this with different sizes. You just have to, maybe plan how many and, how many pieces to cut it up into. So that was like 3 by 4. I could have cut it into like 1.5 inch squares, but then I would have had to have made it maybe 3 by 4.5, then that would have maybe worked. But you know what I'm saying? Just I'm doing them all in 1 inch squares, but you can play around and do different sizes if you want. Okay, now why these are called color blocking is, if you notice on these, you've got that little color blocking on the bottom of each one, and I chose, I think on all of mine, I chose to put the color block on the bottom left. But you could do the same thing and on the bottom right. Maybe this one, I'll try that to see how it looks. Okay, but again, what it's supposed to simulate looking through a window, like my quilt, right? This is the quilt that I made. I did on this one use 2 different colors, like the windowsill and then the, I don't know what you call those, the panels going up and down like the wood on there. But that's kind of what it's supposed to simulate. So I'm going to make my card base out of Mossy Meadow. And so I decided to make so like on this one, I made it, this is Secret Sea. So I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. And then you can see here, I did Petal Pink for the card front. So on the card front for this one, I'm going to use Pecan Pie. So that piece was 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to get this in my head about which way I'm doing it. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the color blocking out of Mossy Meadow. So on these ones, I did the same as the base as the blocking. And I recommend doing the shadow, because this is supposed to be a shadow, in a darker color. Okay, so that's why on all of these pretty much, this one I did Secret Sea, this one I did the Early Espresso, and then this one I did Mossy Meadow. Okay, so I recommend doing a darker color. So I'm going to use Mossy Meadow as my shadow. So let me first cut the card base, and then I have the rest of it to play around with. So the card base is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Okay, so I'll set this aside for the card base. And then this is the card front. So now I have all of this paper that I can use for the shadows. So this is the same as the Designer Series paper. You cut it 3 inches by 4 inches. Let's see. Okay, and then you just do the same exact thing. We're going to cut these into 1 by 1 inch squares. However, on this one, you don't need to really worry about keeping them in order. The only thing I would recommend is if you use two-tone cardstock like I did, this is two-tone paper, I would keep it the same, the same side. So I'm going to use the darker side. So while you don't have to keep them in order, you do want to keep it on the same side. Now, if you're using our 8 1/2 by 11 paper that is just, solid core, one color, you don't even have to worry about that. So this one, I'm just cutting into these 1 inch squares. Okay, and again, you're going to use 12. If you do 1 by 1 inch squares. This is a really nice design if you have scraps. A lot of our papers, I make cards, I make scrapbook layouts with, and I have not really enough to say do a whole scrapbook layout or something, but you have enough that you could make this card. This is a great design if you're trying to use up your paper. Okay, so let's set this aside. Now all we need to do is assemble, really, and then stamp a sentiment. Okay, so here is my card base. Again, this was 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I'm going to use the dark side because this was from 12 by 12 paper. So I'm using the darker side. And I'm going to fold it in half. And like I said, I did all of mine in a portrait design. Okay. Okay, then I chose, you want to choose, I think, a lighter color for the card front. So you can see on all of these, pretty much I did some kind of lighter color. So I did a dark card base, a lighter color of the card front. Oh, I need to get my adhesive, hold on. Okay, so I had Mossy Meadow, and then this is Pecan Pie. Because these were colors from the Beautiful Gallery paper. Okay, make sure it opens the right way. Do you ever do a card and then you realize you put it on upside down? So always double check. Okay. And now what I did is I started taking my pieces here, my Designer Series paper, and I'm just kind of dry fitting them. I'm not going to adhere them down yet. Just to kind of get some space, you know, the spacing right. And I will use my Versamat here. I'm using this 6-inch line. I'm going to try and line up my card along that so I can center it. It's not, you don't have to be, you know, perfect, but I find that if I just start gluing them down, I always end up, you know, having less space up here and more space down here, and it doesn't look right. And you notice I'm not putting the color blocking on yet. I don't know. Just trying to get an idea. Okay, and I love that you can see that little wheat sticking up there. How are we doing so far? Okay, now I'm going to take some green glue, and you guys know my love-hate relationship with green glue. It's not my favorite, but this is a brand new bottle, so let's see what we can do with it. You can also use, on all of these, I used a tape runner because my green glue was out, but I got a new bottle now. So now here's the thing. You're going to stick this on here, but you're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch around the edge. Again, you can decide how much you want to do that, but I am going to leave about 1/8 of an inch. So what I do is take the glue or your adhesive. Ooh, see, this is why I'm not good with glue, because I go crazy with it. It just goes everywhere. Okay. And then, so I don't put glue or adhesive on that edge down there. So that's the important thing, is you don't want to get glue on there. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It does dry clear or whatever, but that's not very much. Okay. And you also don't want glue on this part of your Designer Series paper. I mean, that one's not as bad because it can stick to the card front, but you see what I'm saying? Okay, so just put a little bit down there, and I'm just working my way down. And you want to try and get these as, you know, as close as possible to each other in terms of all being about 1/8 of an inch. But, you know, again, I'm not measuring it or anything like that. Okay, there we go. And again, a reminder, as you're doing this, keep your pieces in order. Oh, I was going to put it on the other side. Well, maybe the next one will do that. I just am used to putting the shadow on the bottom left. Okay, there we go. So I kind of went down and did the whole center ones. Now let's do the ones on the right here. Okay. Okay, keep going. I want to knock on wood, but I think I'm doing pretty good with the glue today. Maybe because it's a brand new bottle. I'm not getting it everywhere yet. There's still time. Okay. Okay, just a couple more on this side. Has anybody made this style of card before? Drop it in the comments if you've made this style of card before. Okay, I had to stop myself from making too many because they were so much fun. And I just had so many ideas in my head. Like there's one more that I want to try after this one. Okay, so we've got that side done. Now just the left side. And I'm keeping them in order. If you want to keep your scene. I know I keep repeating that, but I think it's important if you're trying to go for this look. Now this one, I really feel, the reason I chose this paper is because I feel like this could be, you know, you're looking out the window and you're seeing this, you know, this grassland or all these grasses that are right outside your window. I thought it was a nice scene. It's a nice window scene. Diana, you haven't made it. Well, now you're going to have to do this. You know what? I think I'll make this week's sketch because I have not created this week's sketch yet for Tuesday because I was busy all weekend. So maybe I'll make this week's sketch. And then you can do it. Okay, I mean, you can see we're almost done. So now we can go back to this center group and apply them to the card base. Because right now, all we did was put the two squares together. Now we're going to attach it to the card base. Again, you can use the glue. If you want. And again, I'm trying to use my Versamat to center these. Okay. And as I'm flipping this around, I'm keeping it in my head, like which direction. You don't want to get these turned upside down. Just holding it down for 1 second and letting it kind of catch on there. Okay. And there's going to be about 1/8 of an inch between all of the squares. Again, I'm trying to just eyeball it. And using the glue gives you a little bit of time to adjust if you need to. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. We'll see once I get it all done if I feel it's centered, but I am trying to, with this one, you know, have it be level at the top, right? So I'm trying to make sure I center it, but also get the tops to match. Okay, couple more, and then we'll think about the sentiment we want to put on this. Okay, this row's done. Okay, one more side. And the good thing is, if you're not perfectly lined up, there's kind of a lot going on that it won't be that noticeable. Okay, two more. And one more. Okay, now let's start thinking about a sentiment. Okay, get these kind of lined up. Okay, I'm kind of happy with those. Now, you'll notice on these ones, I put my sentiment kind of on the bottom left. I think it depends on what your design is. This one, I put the sentiment on the bottom right because I didn't really want to cover up the pear, okay? So, on this one, I think I might, I don't know, I think I might put it up here. We'll try it out. But, on all of these, for my mat, I did use the same color as the card base and the shadows. On this one, I did too. I used Secret Sea. But on this one, I used another color from the paper. So here I used Cajun Craze instead of the Early Espresso. So it's up to you. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this. Okay, let me find my. Okay. Here's my circle dies. But you can use other shapes. I was thinking, well, let me look at my sentiments first, and then I'll decide. I'm going to use phrases and frames. This is from the phrases and frame set. This one goes with the frame that's the impressions dies. But I like the sentiments. To me, this one seems kind of like a sympathy or a thinking of you, something like that. So maybe I'll do the thinking of you. Okay. You can see I've used this set a lot. I wanted to see what size. That's why I'm taking this off. That's actually this one, so. Okay, the one I have the sentiment on is a 1.5. It's a 1.5 inch circle. And then this one is a 2 inch circle. Okay. So let's make a 2-inch circle of this one. I could also have used Mossy Meadow, but let's lighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to make a 2-inch circle out of pecan pie. So for the mat, and then I think the very vanilla, let's see, does this have a vanilla? Doesn't say either way, but this to me seems like it would be better with vanilla rather than basic white. Okay, so I have some very vanilla here that obviously I used before. Okay. And then this one is 1.5 inches. There we go. Okay. And I pulled out Mossy Meadow, so let's use that. I didn't pull out any pecan pie. Okay. That one just fits on that square. But look how nice this stamp set stamps. Wow, I'm loving this. I'm loving the font on this. Let me clean this off real quick. You could also do something like, I was thinking something like, you know, more like this shape. Although this is bigger than what I would have needed. But you know, you could do something other than a circle. All of mine I've done a circle just because, but you don't have to do just a circle. Okay. I was just trying to let that dry a little bit. Put it on here. And I want to pop it up, so I use some dimensionals. Okay. You guys know I love my dimensionals, so if you find that an excessive amount, that's just who I am. Okay, but let's decide. You guys vote where I should put this. I was thinking up here because there's not much going on, but should I put it down here? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm liking it down there. And I'm also thinking I would have maybe preferred it as the Mossy Meadow, but it's not bad this way. And let's see, I have some of these gems. These are kind of pecan pie. These are earth tones. Okay, what do you guys think? I love the scene. And then inside, really, there's a nice sentiment in here. Let me see. I don't have a big enough piece of vanilla. So we'll do the inside white. I'm going to cut it inside at 4 by 5 1/4. And let's stamp it. The reason I want to stamp the inside because this says sending prayers and heartfelt sympathy to you and your family. I think that is a nice compliment with the thinking of you. This is a new stamp, so I haven't used this one yet. So I'm going to rub it to get that coating off. And I'm not going to glue this down yet until I stamp it. I should get out my Stampin' Positioner, but I have it packed away for the Stampin' Scrapbook Expo. I've got my bags a little bit packed. Oh, that's perfect. This stamp set stamps so nicely. Okay. Clean this off. Is anybody going to the Stampin' Scrapbook Expo in Schaumburg this weekend? I'm going to be there. I'm not selling. I mean, you know, not as a vendor, as a participant, a scrapbooker, and card maker. I brought a few card kits that I need to finish. So if you're there, stop by and say hi. I think there might be a Stampin' Up person there. There was the last time I went. Okay, now look at that. Isn't that nice? I really love that. What do you guys think of this one? Okay. I have time for one more, but I wanted to try something different, something I haven't done yet. This one kind of is along the same lines as this one with the scene. But one thing I didn't do was do different papers. Okay. I did the scenes. I did the just overall background paper. This one had like a focal point on the paper. Now I was thinking about doing one with different papers. So I thought this pad, what is this one called? Beautiful Bokeh. Oh yeah, the Beautiful Bokeh paper. I just thought it would be nice to use up some of these scraps. Like, look, I'm going to use, you know, some of these. And I don't know if I'm going to do, I might do 6 different colors. So let's just try this one. I wanted to try. I also thought about doing it with plaids. Okay, that was my other thought, like taking some of these and doing one. So if you try either of those, let me know. Let me see how it looks. So all we need to do is cut these into 1-inch squares, and you need 12 of the Designer Series paper. And I think I'm going to cut 2 of each color if I have enough. Okay. Okay, so I have 2 blue. What's colors on the back? That's blue. I don't want that. I want to use this color because I have This is the color I set aside for the card base. So let's do 2 of these. Is that 1 inch? Did I cut that right? I think so. Okay, so I'm just going to do some random, so 6 different colors, 2 of each. I think that will be pretty too. I just want to show you how many different ways you can take this. Okay, let's do this one of the coral. I don't know if I have another one of the coral. I think I can get 2 out of this. See, the yellow, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I think those were 2-inch squares. This was from my, I think, make and take from maybe my Easter virtual get-together. Okay, let's see what else we have. What other colors? I'm just trying to use the scraps up, but let's see, what else is in here? Oh, look, how about this purple? This will be pretty. Okay. So I have 8 so far. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What's on the back side of this? That's too close. I was hoping maybe for like a green or something. This one might not be bad because it's got some of the yellow. It maybe ties it all in. So let's try this one. Okay, so I have 12 pieces now. So I can't wait to see how this looks. Okay, and I'm going to use this. This is Petunia Pop, I think. And let's make the card base so I make sure I have enough of that. So cutting it at 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, and so then I have this to work with for the shadows. Oh, but you think, I don't know now. I don't think it'll look good with this one. I might have to, well, we could maybe use this side. I might have to cut another one of those. So let's cut this 3 by 4. Let me see if I can find one of a color that's got this color in it, but it's not solid Petunia Pop. So let's cut these into 1-inch squares. I'm using these for the shadows. And for the solid cardstock, remember, you don't have to worry about keeping anything in order. And actually, these ones you don't have to worry about keeping in order because it's not a scene. It's just random paper. So this one's truly a way to use up scraps. You saw almost all of these were cut from scraps I had. Okay. Okay, one more cut. let's go back and see if there's another one we can use. Now this paper is solid core. I know it was 12 by 12, but it was before they made the 12 by 12 two-tone. So this was 12-inch, but it was solid core. So I don't have to worry about, you know, it being the light side or the dark side. Okay, let's see. What do you guys think? I'm gonna do this one. This one's got a little bit of the pops of color in it. Okay. Okay, I want this one because it's got a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the purple. Okay. So instead of these, because I don't think you'll be able to see the, I mean, I don't know. Should I use these ones? It didn't seem like you could really see the shadow. So let's go ahead and use these new ones. But we do have to think about the background, so the card front. So I could use just a solid color. I don't think any of these are light enough. Okay, let's go with, I used a white on this one. Let's go with the white. So I'm making the card front white. 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so here's the card base. Again, it's two-tone, so I don't have to really worry about it. You can definitely see what it's definitely a different weight. It bends a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Let's adhere this to the card front. I think that the white card front will look nice because I'm trying to highlight the different colors. So I think that'll be nice. Okay, now we just do the same thing as we're going to line these up. And for this one, a good reason to line them up is because you want to spread the colors around. Okay. Okay, so I'm left with this. I think I'm gonna do that one. Where's the other one of these? Okay, I kind of like that mix. What do you think? Now all we need to do is put the shadow on them. This is going to be a fun one. I think I'm going to like it with the different colors. This one's going to be hard to see the difference. I don't know. Okay, let's just go down and glue all of these. I don't know. I was too lucky on my first card. I'm not making a mess. with my glue, but I'm doing okay so far. I'm really trying to love my green glue. The reason it's nice for this particular use is that it does give you a little bit of time and flexibility that if you don't like the placement, you can give a little bit of time to move it. Okay. That one seemed over a little bit too far. Okay. Let's do the next row. This is so fast that we're getting 2 cards done today, and you know, that's not typical for me. There we go. And remember, I'm just putting it in the corner. Oh, I was going to try the other corner. Actually, you can do that. Watch how fast I can change the corners. Woo, just turning it around. I wanted to see what it looks like this way. I told you I was going to try it, but I didn't. Okay. I'm starting to get more glue poking out. I don't know. Let me know, look at it, and before I glue these to the card front, let me know if you like it going this direction, or if you think it even makes a difference. So before I glue them down, vote if you think I should put it back with the shadow on the bottom left, or if you like it in the bottom right, or you don't think it matters. Okay. My fingers are starting to get glue on them. The one thing is you want all of them, the shadow going in the same direction. That would be the only thing. I don't think it makes a big difference, but whatever you choose, they all have to go that way. Because that's like whatever the direction the sun's coming in from or whatever. Okay, the last one. And then I'll look to see if you guys voted. Nobody voted, so I'm going to keep it this way, but you can let me know what you think. Okay. So let's start the center. There we go. And I think the white was a perfect choice for this because it makes the colors pop so much. I like it this way. So it's a little bit of a different look. Having them just random colors. You don't get that sort of scene out of it, but I don't think that that's bad. Okay, got that center row done. Okay, I'm loving the colors on this. I really like this set. I'm pretty sure this was the paper that I used for the National Scrapbooking Day event. I sent out 2x2 squares for you to make your scrapbook. Speaking of that, I am going to be holding a National Card Making Month event in October. So keep your ears open for that. You know, it's my virtual sessions. And all day. Well, you know, pretty much. Usually it's from like 1 to 9 or something like that. Virtual. Event, and I'll have a make and take. Usually I've been trying to do a technique also, so. Okay. So this to me is a cheery sentiment. So let's see what we got on here. Oh, I think this would be a nice birthday one. What do you think? I think this would be a good one. Happiest birthday wishes. That's this one. Let's see what. Let's see what shape. I don't want to do a circle on this one. I was thinking maybe this Sweet Words and Labels dies. Let's see if it'll fit on here. Well, yeah, I think that'll fit perfectly. And there's some nice sentiments here too we could have used. Okay, there's the Sweet Words and Labels link. Yeah, I like it, but you know what? I'm not happy with. I don't know. It's not centered right, but I think it still looks good. But if you're not trying to do it live and talking as you're doing it, you might not. You might get it straighter than I did. Okay, so I'm going to use the smaller one for the sentiment. I'm cutting it out of white. And I love this one because look at how pretty the edges are these ones. And then the bigger one, do the Petunia Pop. And actually it kind of matches my sweatshirt. I didn't notice that until right now. Okay. I think that'll look nice. So again, this was the Sweet Words and Labels. This is the one that went with the Winnie the Pooh set. I remember the Winnie the Pooh set was like a mega suite, I think they call them. So it had 2 stamp sets, 2 bundles. This is the Words and Labels, and then the other one had the Winnie the Pooh characters and such. So okay, let's stamp the sentiment here. Happiest birthday wishes. And I do have, oh, this, you know what, that color might be, I think that color's Berry Burst. I was saying Petunia Pop, but I think Petunia Pop is a little bit lighter. And speaking of this, you know that our ink spots are changing size, so luckily I have 2 tins exactly the same, the right amount, so if I get a new one, it'll fit the new sizes. They're 1.5 by 1. I think they're starting maybe next month. Although there is a Christmas set that is in the new size. It's got, I think, it was a red, a green, and maybe pecan pie. I don't remember what colors it was. Maybe Poppy Parade and Spruce, maybe Mossy Meadow. It was a nice Christmas colors. But anyway, they're in the new size. Okay. This phrase came from the Phrases and Frames. Came from this suite. This is a nice, like, general, and it's got some nice, useful sayings there. Okay, and all we need to do is pop this on. Okay. I love this combination of the, I mean, look how pretty. This one's got like a dash, almost like a sewing line on it. And then this one has got, I think of it as like a pie crust edge, you know, where you, not the one where you squeeze together, but the one where you use a fork around the edges. That's what this one reminds me of. And I think I'm going to put it down here because maybe it'll cover up that I didn't make it so straight. So let's pop this up. If I can find my dimensionals. I found the cover, but, oh, here we go. Now this one, I think I might put a decoration or something. Like, I think this might look nice with a flower or something, but maybe you don't have to. What, I don't know. What do you think, there or here? I'm thinking right here. Okay. And then we can put some sparkle on here. I have these that I thought would be nice. These are purple backed adhesive sequins. But I could see a flower, some flowers or something here. The other ones, I think the paper was kind of the star. And I mean, this one I think is nice too, but it's more plain. So maybe you could put a flower or something if you wanted to. Okay, so these are the two we made today. And these are my samples. Which one's your favorite? What do you guys think? Which is your favorite? I think so too. And this I think would be good for kids or adults, right? This isn't a nice card. So again, the different styles. These two were scenes, right? Where you kind of cut up your scene. And the designer series paper was just 3 inches by 4 inches. That's all you need. So a scene. This one I had like a strong focal image on the paper with this pear. But I really kind of liked the floral background. This one is just like if you have overall random design paper, like these leaves. And then this one I wanted to try different colors. And like I said, the other thought I had would be different plaids would be nice. I was thinking for Christmas, I had kind of pulled out this pack. This is an old pack, Iconic Celebrations. But, you know, I've got candy canes and different things like this green. I think it would be cute having different Christmas papers would be nice. So it might be a nice an easy Christmas card to make. Vicky, you like this one? Yeah, I like that one too. I do like the colors. Now next week, we are going to look at the summer happiness, and we're going to make this card. Also, I'm having a YouTube drop for my monthly YouTube hop with this card. I made this card for the YouTube hop. So here I used like the washi tape, and here I used the stamp set. This is washi tape, but the background's the stamp set. So next week, it's all about the summer happiness. So if you want to see these, join me next week. Also, I don't know if you saw, but my special this month is if you spend $50 on my website, I am going to send you a card kit, and it's going to be materials to make one of these color blocking cards. Okay, so if you spend $50, I'll send you the materials for this. And you can message me and let me know if there's any particular design that you would like, any paper that you would like. I have a paper, I have this paper, I have this paper, I have enough of this one, and obviously this one. The leaves, this was last year's fall. So I don't know how much of that I have, but so spend $50 on my website and I will send you a card kit. But you may want to spend the $75 to get the product of the month. Actually, next month's product of the month is a paper, and it kind of looks like this. It's a different kind of color scheme, but it's a I think a fall leaf. I think the leaves, maybe pumpkins, but it's a nice fall paper design. It's really, really pretty. And that will go live, I think, on the 4th. Okay, thanks for joining me this week. I hope to see you next week. Bye.